Guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Martial Universe Season 5 based on novel. So let's start. Good, how bold of you. Clearly, the Black Shadow's facial expression was extremely gloomy at this point in time. While both of his eyes were filled with an unconcealable killing intent, the Black Shadow stared perversely at Lin Dong and said, "Lad, do you really think that you are qualified to act so brazenly in front of me just because you managed to ward off a Nirvana stage practitioner?" From his words, it was apparent that he had witnessed the confrontation between Lin Dong and Hua Yun outside of the Thunder Granite Valley. However, he could not help but sneer at this sight. Given Lin Dong's capabilities, he would not last more than 10 rounds in a life or death battle with a Nirvana stage practitioner. Lin Dong did not try to retort the Black Shadow's words, but merely smiled. At the same time, he did not show any signs of handling over the tree veins symbol obediently. Undoubtedly, Lin Dong's actions further ashened the Black Shadow's facial expression. Upon seeing this scene, Mo Ti and the rest's faces turned pale. Even though they had witnessed how Lin Dong fared in his confrontation with Hua Yun outside of the Thunder Granite Valley, that was merely a wager. Right now, they were in a different situation. It was clear that this Black Shadow was not a benevolent individual. If Lin Dong did not hand over the tree veins symbol, he would not let the matter rest. Compared to Mo Ti and his counterparts' pale faces, even though Mo Ling and the other rest's hearts were racing, they still believed in Lin Dong. From the day they stepped into the ancient battlefield, Lin Dong had performed numerous miracles for them. It was as if the number of trump cards up his sleeves were endless. The atmosphere in the spacious stone chamber froze and tensed up. Indistinctly, there was a chilling aura dissipating throughout the temple, causing one's face to be unnerved. "Lad, you have lost your final opportunity to beg for my forgiveness." The tensed atmosphere continued for a moment before the Black Shadow slowly opened his mouth. Upon hearing these words, Mo Ti and the rest were shocked. Apparently, this Nirvana stage practitioner was getting impatient. Bang! With an icy-cold glare, the Black Shadow took a step forward. Immediately, a surge of Yuan power swept forward and speckles of golden light gushed under his skin. Without showing any signs of executing any martial arts, he jolted his body and became a fuzzy luster, and blasted a thunderbolt-like punch towards Lin Dong. The air exploded under the power of his punch. Nirvana stage practitioners possess the real Nirvana golden body, which was their most powerful weapon. Even a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner would not dare to resist such a powerful individual. It was clear that the Black Shadow did not intend to hold back his attack. The sonic boom from his punch was sharp and tricky, and it was aimed directly at the vital point of Lin Dong's chest. If his punch landed on its target, it would definitely blast a bloody hole in the target's body. Humph! Seeing how ruthless the Black Shadow launched his attacks, Lin Dong's eyes froze as well, yet he did not retreat immediately. With a twitch of his body, speckles of golden light erupted beneath Lin Dong's skin too. Even though this golden radiance was not as condensed as the Black Shadow's, it gave off an indestructible feel. As the golden radiance surged under Lin Dong's skin, tremendous energy was emitting from his entire body as well. At once, Lin Dong's eyes blazed with fiery flames. And with a slight hesitation, under the astonished gazes from Mo Ti and the rest, a golden radiated punch was released and collided head-on with the Black Shadow's punch. Boom! A low and piercing boom resounded through the stone temple. A brutal wave of energy ripple then swept across the temple, and turned the sum of the surrounding elixirs into dust. Lin Dong's figure was thrown back violently, and at the same time, tiny explosions could be heard coming continuously from his body. Clearly, his body had been invaded by an extremely powerful force. Such terrifying power was enough to crush a half-step to Nirvana stage practitioner's body. However, even though Lin Dong's body was thrown back by the attack, he did not show any signs of being seriously injured. Instead, under such a powerful attack, the golden glow on his body became increasingly brilliant. Thump! Finally, Lin Dong's body slammed viciously onto a huge pillar. Immediately, numerous cracks extended throughout the thick and solid pillar. It was at this moment that Lin Dong could finally stabilize his body thoroughly. Upon seeing Lin Dong did not show any signs of being seriously injured, after taking such a powerful punch from the Nirvana stage practitioner, Mo Ti and the rest sucked in a deep breath of cold air while feeling puzzled at the same time. Nirvana golden body. In the mid-air, the Black Shadow stared at the faintly discernible golden glow beneath Lin Dong's skin too. Soon after, he came to a realization and sneered, "No wonder you are so arrogant. It seems that you have a nirvana golden body-alike body transformation martial art. However, I can tell you that you are too gullible to believe you can contend against a nirvana stage practitioner with your martial art alone." As soon as he finished his sentence, the entire body of the black shadow erupted with an extremely dazzling golden radiance. The intensity of such radiance was numerous times stronger than Lin Dong's lesser nirvana golden body. "Let's see how many times your imitation nirvana golden body can withstand my attacks." This time around, the black figure activated all the powers of his nirvana golden body as he burst into an attack abruptly. A somber look appeared on Lin Dong's face as he looked at the increasingly magnifying golden radiance in his eyes. After the previous direct confrontation, he understood the prowess of a nirvana stage practitioner. He could only make use of his lesser nirvana golden body to put up a slight resistance. Ultimately, he could not use it to contend against the black shadow. No matter what happened, his capabilities paled in comparison with a nirvana stage practitioner's. The sight of a golden figure, who was overwhelmed with mountain-like power, was expanding rapidly in the eyes of Lin Dong. That kind of pressuring gale that accompanied the attack was creating numerous cracks on the floor around Lin Dong. Lin Dong quickly escaped from there. Mo Ti and the rest screeched till their hearts went up their throats when they saw what was going on. Clearly, the nirvana stage practitioner had went all out on this attack, and he was going to kill Lin Dong. Trying to escape. A piercing laughter came from within the golden radiance. As he looked at Lin Dong's calm face, and thought of how the face was going to be wrecked later on, a twisted bloodlust delight arose in his mind. As the golden radiance streaked across the air, the black shadow's fist, which seemed to be made of real gold, caused explosions in the air and blasted towards Lin Dong's head. With this kind of speed and the short distance between the black shadow and Lin Dong, it was impossible to dodge the attack even with extreme speed. Die. The black shadow's face became sinister and distorted. However, just as he was about to land his punch, he saw a mocking look flashed across Lin Dong's eyes. Dong. Without even having the chance to understand the mocking look behind Lin Dong's eyes, a red glow suddenly streaked across the air. At this moment, a metallic cold punch appeared and collided with the sonic boom from his punch with a loud rumble. Terrifying energy ripples engulfed the place. Huge cracks and crevices erupted throughout the floor of the stone chamber. All the stone pillars exploded as the stone chamber showed signs of collapsing. Seeing what had happened, Mo Ti and the rest retreated without any hesitation. They then looked at the stone chamber, which was currently engulfed in clouds of dust, with a deathly white face. No matter how powerful Lin Dong was, he was bound to die under such a powerful attack. Bang! Just when their faces turned deathly white, a figure shot out from the clouds of dust abruptly with both his feet planted deeply on the ground, creating 2 deep trails on the floor. Tremendous energy was seeping from the figure's body, creating explosions in the air in the process. Finally, this figure slammed fiercely onto the wall of the temple. As his body gave way, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Mo Ti and the rest then fixated their gazes on this figure. What they saw petrified their bodies. Their eyes were popped out as if they had seen a ghost. That was because the sorry figure, who was shot out from the clouds of dust and spat out a mouthful of blood, was the mysterious nirvana stage practitioner. Mo Ti and the rest's minds seemed to be in the state of stupefaction as they stared blankly at this sight. Even the black shadow himself raised his head in disbelief as he wiped off the blood stain on his mouth and glared rigidly into the clouds of dust. This situation continued for a short moment before the rustling sound of footsteps came through the clouds of dust. They then turned their heads stiffly and saw a figure walking slowly out of the clouds of dust. The calm face on the figure remained unwavering. Mo Ti and the rest's gazes rested upon Lin Dong's calm face. At this moment, they suddenly discovered that there was a tall figure standing behind Lin Dong like a loyal bodyguard. As they shifted their gazes to that tall figure, they discovered that its entire body appeared to be blazing with flames. They could not clearly see its features, but could vaguely sense a powerful energy coming from it. This put their minds in a state of shock. After a while, mutterings that contained traces of extreme shock and astonishment began to come out from their mouths. Nerve. Nirvana stage practitioner. The blazing figure stood silently behind Lin Dong. Even though it did not make any movements, it still gave off a faint energy wave that unnerved one's heart. At this moment, the messy stone chamber was absolutely silent. Regardless of who it was, Mo Tai, Mo Ling or the black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner, all of them were staring at the blazing figure behind Lin Dong in astonishment. How can there be a Nirvana stage practitioner by his side? Mo Tai and his counterparts mumbled unbelievably to themselves. They had never seen Lin Dong with a Nirvana stage bodyguard before, and from the Mo Ling trio's surprised faces, it was clear that they were similarly in the dark. A soul puppet. So this is your trump card. The black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner said with an hoarse and gloomy voice, as he slowly wiped off the traces of blood at the corners of his mouth. He was far more experienced than Mo Tai and the rest. Thus, he could sense that the blazing figure did not have any life force like a human. It was then clear to him that the blazing figure was some kind of soul puppet. However, even so, the black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner's heart could not help but twitched violently, and he stared at the blood soul puppet with both fear and greed. Even he himself did not possess such an excellent artifact. Soul puppet. Upon hearing these words, Mo Tai and the rest were stunned. Soon after, they came back to their senses and looked enviously at Lin Dong. This kind of artifact was extremely rare, and they never imagined that Lin Dong would possess one in his arsenal. It was also now that they finally understood why Lin Dong could stay composed when he was facing Ling Ji and Liu Yuan. It turned out that he possessed such an intimidating force up his sleeves. One soul puppet was sufficient to contend against a Nirvana stage practitioner. With such an unconventional Nirvana stage practitioner as a bodyguard, why would Lin Dong be afraid of Ling Ji and his counterparts? Lin Dong did not reply as he chuckled. He turned to stare at the black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner, smiling a little as he asked, "So what are you going to do next?" Upon hearing these words, a cold light immediately surfaced in the eyes of the black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner. However, after seeing the blood soul puppet beside Lin Dong, he had no choice but to repress his anger. From the previous confrontation with the blood soul puppet, he understood that if a fight broke out, the soul puppet would thrash him terribly. Furthermore, there was still Lin Dong eyeing him covetously from the side. The current situation had turned unfavorable for him in a flash. Very clearly, he had to put off the idea of seizing the tree vein symbol for now. Lad, don't be too pleased with yourself. By offending my Devil Cliff Empire, I'm afraid you will not have an easy time in the future. A mere soul puppet will not be able to safeguard you in the ancient battlefield. The black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner glared coldly at Lin Dong while grinning in a sinister manner. Devil Cliff Empire. Upon hearing this name, Lin Dong did not have much of a reaction. Instead, it was Mo Tai and the rest whose facial expressions changed drastically. When they saw Lin Dong's relaxed face, they could not help but softly speak in unison, "Lin Dong, I'm afraid there might be some troubles this time around. I have heard of the Devil Cliff Empire before. This empire is a powerful existence even among the high-rank empires. It is impossible for these empires to have only a single Nirvana stage practitioner. Furthermore, these people are extremely vengeful. If you offend them, they will definitely seek revenge. According to my intelligence, there was once a high-rank empire that was completely wiped out by them." After hearing these words, Lin Dong's eyes turned a little solemn. Looks like the Devil Cliff Empire was indeed a formidable faction. "Heh, lad, if you obediently hand over the tree vein symbol now and offer up this soul puppet, the grudge between us can be easily written off. Otherwise, I'm afraid there might not be a chance for you to distinguish yourself in the ancient battlefield." The black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner sneered as he saw the change on Lin Dong's eyes, a tinge of cockiness in his tone. Lin Dong furrowed his brows and shot the black figure a glance before replying in an indifferent manner, "I don't care who you are and which empire you are from. I have never given anything I own to anyone. Get lost." Lin Dong's eyes abruptly turned serious at the final few words, while his face gushed with killing intent. "You?" The black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner was furious when he saw Lin Dong's attitude. Initially, he thought that by using the name of his empire, Lin Dong would concede to his demands. However, he did not expect the latter to become increasingly arrogant instead. "Fine, you can be willful now, but sooner or later, I will make you regret your actions." However, anger was after all just anger. As long as the soul puppet was there, he did not dare to do anything. After giving Lin Dong a vicious glare, the black figure moved, dashing out of the stone chamber as he speedily disappeared. As Mo Tai and the rest watched the black-clothed Nirvana stage practitioner disappear, they silently heaved a sigh of relief. They shifted their gazes to Lin Dong and laughed bitterly. "Brother Lin Dong, it's going to be troublesome in the future after offending such an adversary." Different situations call for different actions. There is nothing troublesome at all. If you are afraid of trouble in the ancient battlefield, it will be tough for you to distinguish yourself from the rest. In that case, how will you get selected by the supersects? Lin Dong smiled plainly. The Devil Cliff Empire was indeed troublesome, but he did not need to be fearful of them at all. In the past, when he just left the tiny Yang city, if he was afraid of any little thing, it would be hard for him to obtain the accomplishments he had today. Mo Tai could only laugh bitterly without saying anything after he saw how Lin Dong downplayed the whole incident. After these few days of contact with Lin Dong, he understood that Lin Dong was enigmatic and unpredictable. With the power of the mere peak manifestation stage, Lin Dong was able to engage in a direct confrontation with a Nirvana stage practitioner, and even possessed a formidable guardian in the soul puppet. Perhaps only an individual like Lin Dong would not be afraid of a great power like the Devil Cliff Empire. Let's go, there should be other artifacts in this stone temple. All of you should not leave here empty-handed, Lin Dong laughed, dismissing the topic of the Devil Cliff Empire. He took a look at the stone chamber, which was in a complete shambles. Many elixirs in the chamber had been destroyed during the fight, therefore, they could only venture to other parts of the stone temple. After Lin Dong finished his sentence, he waved his hand and returned the blood soul puppet to the stone talisman. Afterwards, he left the stone chamber and walked along the corridor that led to other areas. Behind him, Mo Ling, Mo Tai and the rest rushed to catch up. The party traveled through the complex maze-like stone chamber. Along the way, they managed to reap some benefits as well. In some of the stone chambers, there were heaps of Nirvana pills. Instead of taking these pills, Lin Dong let Mo Tai, Mo Ling and the rest divide them among themselves. After all, he had already obtained the tree vein symbol which he needed desperately. If he could refine it, his mental energy could break through to the Heaven Symbol Master stage. When that moment came, he would be able to face real Nirvana stage practitioner alone, without any help from the blood soul puppet. Within half an hour of traveling through the corridors in the stone temple, Mo Tai and the rest had a rather bountiful harvest. Their faces were filled with contentment and excitement, obviously thinking about how they had benefited from this trip. Furthermore, with Lin Dong overseeing them from the side, they did not have to worry about other factions snatching the treasures they had found. After all, the current Lin Dong could not be stopped even by a Nirvana stage practitioner. Along the way, Lin Dong and his counterparts had encountered other entourages too. Some were from Yang City while others were strangers whom they had never met before. However, once they encountered each other, they immediately carried on to other places. It was clear that they wanted to make use of the time to search for more treasures. Lin Dong and gang had a rather substantial haul. After a few wrong turns in the corridors, they found that the path ahead of them had been replaced by an extremely enormous main chamber. As they stared at the main chamber that had appeared before their eyes, Lin Dong and his counterparts taken aback. Soon after, their eyes gradually burned with passion. Everyone knew that the most important thing in Thunder Granite Valley was not the items they had obtained so far in their journey. The real treasure that had attracted numerous elites and high-rank empires was the ancient secret key. This treasure possessed a deadly enticement. Even a powerful being like Little Martin drooled at the thought of the samsara pills in the ancient treasure trove, let alone others. Let's go. Therefore, when the main chamber appeared before Lin Dong's eyes, he waved his hand without any hesitation and led the rest into it. The main chamber was extremely vast and spacious and looked like a huge coliseum. Currently, there were already numerous groups in the main chamber. Lin Dong glanced around and spotted Ling Ji, Liu Yuan and their counterparts, who had unexpectedly arrived at the main chamber too. On their left were the two groups from the Millennial Ice Empire and Great Crow Empire. Lin Dong then took a sweeping glance around the main chamber. After a while, his gaze stopped at a particular area of the main chamber where 5 black figures were gathered. Even though they were few in number, Lin Dong could sense that even Hua Yun, Wu Mo and their counterparts were deathly afraid of them. The sudden appearance of Lin Dong and his counterparts attracted many gazes. One of the black figures turned around as his expression instantly darkened. He was the one who previously failed in his attempt to seize the tree vein symbol from Lin Dong. Lin Dong shot a glance at the black figure as a menacing smile appeared on the latter's face. It was as if a rabbit had entered a wolf's lair, an extremely sinister sight. However, the black figure's sinister smile did not have the slightest effect on Lin Dong's mental state. Lin Dong continued scanning the place until his gaze finally stopped at the deepest area of the main chamber. There was a light orb floating in that spot. Within the light orb was a weirdly shaped, key-like object that was emitting an unusual glow. Ancient secret key. As Lin Dong stared at the object within the light orb, his pupils immediately shrunk. At the same time, he could feel even little Martin becoming excited inside the stone talisman. Right now, due to the sudden appearance of Lin Dong's group, everyone in the main hall immediately shifted their attention. When Ling Ji, Liu Yuan and the rest saw Lin Dong, they were mildly delighted. After all, Lin Dong also came from Yang City. Therefore, compared to the rest, they definitely had an additional degree of trust in him. With regards to Hua Yun, Wu Mo and the other black shadowy figures, they only casually glanced at him. Regardless of how spectacularly well Lin Dong performed at the outskirts of Thunder Granite Valley, in their eyes, he still did not amount to anything. Senior Mu, that is the fellow who snatched the heavenly symbol spirit tree. However, just as they were about to look away, among the black shadowy figures, one of the Nirvana stage practitioner, who had previously fought with Lin Dong, stared venomously at him, before he turned to a lean man in front of him and said. When they heard his words, with the exception of Lin Dong's group, everyone in the main hall was stunned. Promptly, a peculiar glint flashed across their eyes. That black shadowy figure was able to match up to Hua Yun, yet Lin Dong was able to snatch away something from him. One wonders if this implies that Lin Dong is truly exceptional, or if that black shadowy figure was useless. Peak manifestation stage. That man called Senior Mu gently lifted his head, before he revealed his pale yet fearsome face. After he glanced at Lin Dong, he casually remarked. Senior Mu, that fellow possesses an extremely powerful soul puppet. I have fought against it. That black shadowy man seemed to have detected the displeasure and rage in Senior Mu's words as he quickly explained. Soul puppet. After he spoke, in the main hall, several people's hearts shuddered. Promptly, none of them dared to look down at Lin Dong anymore. Instead, a solemn expression filled their eyes. Everyone knew how powerful a soul puppet was. Even the weakest soul puppet was able to match up to a Nirvana stage practitioner. Therefore, this peak manifestation stage kid actually possessed such a powerful trump card. Ling Ji and Liu Yuan glanced at each other. When both of them saw the thick or plastered in each other's eyes, they finally understood why Lin Dong, who was merely from a small empire and only at peak manifestation stage, did not fear them at all. It was because he had such a powerful trump card up his sleeves. Seems like we have misjudged that guy. A thick or was also plastered on Hua Yun and Wu Mo's face. Both of them never expected that Lin Dong had concealed his strength so deeply. That man called Senior Mu stared intensely at Lin Dong, before he immediately retracted his stare. Following which, using a voice that was only audible to his own men, he gently said, there is no need to care about him. Our most important goal is to obtain the mysterious ancient key. Before we obtain it, there is no need to provoke anyone else over the heavenly symbol spirit tree. Let's settle everything after we obtain the mysterious ancient key. If Lin Dong was an ordinary peak manifestation practitioner, perhaps he would simply slaughter him right away. However, though this man appeared to be a peak manifestation practitioner on the surface, he actually possessed a fairly powerful soul puppet. This forced Senior Mu to reevaluate his decision. Typically speaking, even if Lin Dong had a soul puppet to protect himself, based on the might of their Devil Cliff Empire, there was no need to fear him. After all, once they sent one man to stop the soul puppet, Lin Dong would just be like a piece of meat on their chopping board. However, this time around, they did not bring much men along. Furthermore, there was the Millennial Ice Empire and Great Crow Empire lurking around, and they did not have any excess resources to deal with Lin Dong. As such, even though their Devil Cliff Empire usually operated in a tyrannical fashion, they had to tone down for now. When they heard Senior Mu's words, though that black shadowy Nirvana stage practitioner that had previously suffered at Lin Dong's hands, felt disgruntled, he did not speak any further. Instead, he gritted his teeth and nodded his head. After all, once they obtain the mysterious ancient key, he will let that fellow know the price to pay for offending their Devil Cliff Empire. With regards to the stares from the crowd, Lin Dong remained fairly calm, and he did not act arrogantly. Though his blood soul puppet allowed him to stand up against these Nirvana stage practitioner, it was not enough to make those Nirvana stage practitioners fear him. At most, they would only be wary of him and not look down on him like before. In the main hall, the atmosphere here quietened down due to his sudden interference. Moments later, all of them recovered their senses. Following which, countless pairs of eyes stared fervently at the glowing ball deep inside the main hall. Lin Dong's eyes were also focused on that glowing ball. Promptly, his pupils gently shrunk before he once again scanned his distant surroundings. Following which, he realized that there were actually several lifelike stone statues situated around the walls of the main hall. However, what puzzled him was that those stone statues seemed alike and they had only differing expressions. Huayun, Wu Mo, for this trip to obtain the mysterious ancient key, my Devil Cliff Empire must succeed. If the two of you are willing to let us have it, our Devil Cliff Empire can establish a pretty good relationship with both of your empires. Just as Lin Dong scanned his surroundings, that lean man named Senior Mu suddenly spoke slowly. When they heard his words, Huayun and Wu Mo gave a fake smile before they said, Chen Mo, your request is a little too much. We have put in so much effort in order to obtain the mysterious ancient key. If you want us to back off based on your words alone, wouldn't it be a joke? Though the Devil Cliff Empire had a fearsome reputation, the Huayun duo were no ordinary individuals. Therefore, it was silly for Chen Mo to expect that they would back off based on his words alone. Right now, in this arena, their two empires had the largest team. Meanwhile, the Devil Cliff Empire had only 4 other men besides Chen Mo amongst the 4 of them, beside the Nirvana stage practitioner that previously fought with Lin Dong. The remaining 3 of them were only at half step to Nirvana stage. Therefore, comparatively speaking, there was a gap between them. The two of you had better not push it. A while ago, the Great Bone Empire, who is almost as powerful as your empires, offended our Devil Cliff Empire. In the end, all of them were brutally slaughtered. Beside Chen Mo, that Nirvana stage practitioner venomously said. There was a blatant threat hidden within his words. How about you try it then? Do you really believe your Devil Cliff Empire can run over the entire ancient battlefield? Huayun was evidently outraged by that man's words. Immediately, his expression darkened as he shouted out. Just as Huayun got angry, standing behind him, the elite Millennial Ice Empire practitioners' expressions darkened before cold auras faintly emerged. When they saw the atmosphere in the main hall turn tense, Ling Ji and Liu Yuan's faces turned dry. They were indeed lacking compared to these high-grade empires, and only a Nirvana stage practitioner had the qualifications to speak here. When they thought of this point, the two of them involuntarily gritted their teeth. After this, they must strive to attack Nirvana stage. After all, only those who have reached Nirvana stage had the qualifications to obtain these rare resources and treasures. Chen Mo, though your Devil Cliff Empire is powerful, for today, you only have 2 Nirvana stage practitioners. Right now, Wu Mo also gently spoke. The meaning behind his words was simple. Based on the men that Chen Mo had brought along, it was not enough to force them to back off. Are you guys really at Nirvana stage? However, when he heard Wu Mo's words, a strange smile suddenly appeared on Chen Mu's face. Meanwhile, there was a peculiar golden glow flowing in the deepest corner of his eyes. The two of you probably only used 200,000 Nirvana pills when you attacked Nirvana stage. However, when I attacked Nirvana stage, I used 500,000 Nirvana pills. Therefore, you must be dreaming if you think you can match up against me. Chen Mo's expression was icy cold. As he took a step forward, a resplendent golden glow gushed out from every pore in his body, before an exceedingly powerful shockwave swept forth. His powerful aura enveloped the entire arena. 500,000 Nirvana pills. When they heard this number, in the main hall, everyone's faces changed. In fact, even Lin Dong's expression was shaken. He naturally knew that the Nirvana chi inside one's body would become more powerful as more Nirvana pills were used. Therefore, before they passed through any Nirvana tribulations, this was used as a benchmark for them. Furthermore, the formidable shockwaves that gushed out from Chen Mu's body was evidently much more powerful than the Nirvana stage practitioner beside him. In fact, it was far more powerful than Huayun or Wu Mo. This Devil Cliff Empire is truly wealthy. After all, 500,000 Nirvana pills is an astronomical number in Lin Dong's eyes. Just as his heart shuddered, Lin Dong's footsteps had already stopped in front of a stone statue. As his fingers gently traced across it, his eyes instantly narrowed, before thick or filled his eyes. Lin Dong, be careful. This main hall is a little strange, and there seems to be an extremely obscure vibration inside these stone statues. Just as shock and confusion flowed in Lin Dong's eyes, little Martin's voice suddenly rang out in his heart. Lin Dong retracted his finger, before he glanced at Mo Ling. When the latter saw him, he seemingly understood his intention. Following which, a group of men stealthily retreated to the main hall's door. Based on their actions, it seemed like they were afraid of getting involved in the fight and therefore, they did not attract much attention. The main hall was still a little silent. It was likely that most of them were shocked by Chen Mu's 500,000 nirvana pills. When he saw this situation, a venomous smile flashed across his grim face. Promptly, he turned around before he walked towards that glowing ball deep inside the main hall. Following which, before the Hua Yun duo recovered their senses, he grabbed that glowing ball. Right now, Hua Yun and Wu Mo finally recovered their senses. Instantly, their expressions changed before they were about to make a move. However, it was evidently too late. Right now, Chen Mu's palm had already touched the key inside the glowing ball. However, what shocked him the most was that the instant he made contact, his palm passed right through, just as if that glowing ball did not exist. Crack! This sight caused everyone to be stunned. Just as they were all bewildered, a soft crackling sound suddenly emerged in the main hall. Amidst that crackling sound, Lin Dong's pupils shrunk violently. That was because he saw the stone status stationed on the stone walls were actually slowly standing up. Meanwhile, a vibration that did not lose out to a nirvana stage practitioner emerged from their bodies. That is not the mysterious ancient key, but the key to a trap. This thought flashed lightning quick across Lin Dong's mind. Part 1 end here.